Hi everyone, it's Sarah from Barre with Sarah, and I'm back today with a short tutorial for you. It's been a long week, with a short tutorial for you about some barre moves, some ballet moves that you'll be seeing in barre class. So if you watch my first tutorial with some different foot positions, some of these things will be familiar, but I just wanted to walk through some ballet basics because we'll start to use some of these things in more of my classes. I've been taking ballet privately for about 2 years, so I'm an adult ballet student. I love it, and so I like infusing ballet into my barre workouts. Furthermore, the methodology that I'm certified in is very ballet based. So barre is very much a fusion discipline. Traditional barre is based on 3 things: ballet, yoga, and Pilates. But depending on the ballet school, the barre school, you'll have them focus more on one or another. So barre comes from Lottie Burke, who is really the foremother of barre, and that's very ballet based. You also see things like cardio, like dance, kind of basic strength training moves are thrown in. So barre really is a fusion. But again, like I said, I love ballet and I like to throw those ballet things in. So I'm just going to show you a few basic things today so you'll feel more comfortable as I'm cueing some of the ballet type moves. So I've got my support today and I've got my mat just to be able to give you a demonstration. So we've talked about some of these foot positions, but we're going to give them a nice review. So the first position is going to be first position, and that's when we have our heels together and our toes are pointed out at a diagonal. Now, as a reminder, if you're a ballet student, you would try to turn those feet out as far as possible. So for most things in first position, the turnout's not really the point. So, claps for you if you've been working on your turnout and you can get there, but that's not really where we're going. When we're in first position, we can always have, in all positions, we can always have a hand resting lightly on our support. So we don't want to be right up next to our support. We don't want to be too far away. So the hand can come down lightly. If I'm coming up into a releve, that's what that would look like in first position. So just raising all the way up. Then we have first position arms. So they're framing the torso of the body, light icicle fingers, as my teacher Kim tells me. And then one more thing I want to show you in each position is a plie and a grand plie, because we'll be doing these more and more in class. So a plie, we can have our hand just here on our hip for a basic plie. This plie, we're bending down and up, down. What you can't see is I'm coming up, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. I'm squeezing all the way up to these inner thighs and into the low glutes, down and up. Now I can go like this all day. That's not really a plie. A plie is maintaining that tension through the entire time. And if I'm here on profile, again, just like in all of our barre exercises, I'm not pitching forward. I'm not pitching back. I'm stacked. Ears over shoulders, over hips, over heels. So that's a regular plie. We'll do a lot of those. Then there's also a grand plie. So if a regular plie is down and up, down and up, a grand plie is going to be 4 counts. So it's going to be down for 2, up for 2, down for 2, up for 2. So as I'm doing this plie, I'm coming down, and as soon as I can, those heels pop up. And then as soon as I can, those heels come down. When we're learning plies, grand plies, it's hard. Sometimes I notice people will kind of like bounce down and then have to really push themselves up. And that's hard. You can also just kind of, if you can't come all the way down, you can just do a deeper plie. This is kind of a pretty standard arm. If you don't like the arm, it's okay. Your arm's right here. You can still go down and down, up and up. Okay, so that's first position. Our plies, coming up under releve, making sure that we have our nice first position arms, because we'll start doing more balances, and then that grand plie. So let's talk about second position. We showed wide second position. So a regular ballet second position is just, it's called a tendu. So I'm pointing that foot out and setting it down. So that's kind of a ballet second position. We tend to step it up a little bit wider in bar, but again, it's what feels good for you. When I come down to the position, you can see that's not really far enough out because I want those knees stacked over the ankles. Woo. Hello, hips. So this is my second position. Again, those toes are pointed out at a diagonal, and as I'm going down and up, you've been doing second position in class, it's sliding down that imaginary wall. Again, that hand resting nicely. We can come up onto releve. Another common thing, we might walk those feet in square and wide second and come up down here and pull, so do something. Second position arms are just straight out. So this would be a good second position balance, keeping the shoulders down and back. And then a grand plie is going to be very similar. So I've got my regular plie here, plie, plie. It's the same general motion, but when I come down to the bottom of the move, my heels are going to stay down. I don't know why. So it's down and down, up and up, down and down, up and up, down and up. Again, remembering if you have words on your t-shirt, the person in front of you could read those words. So I'm not coming like this, and my words would be towards the floor. My words are going to be out. Just another reason I wear shirts with words, to make sure that you can see them. I can see them in the mirror and know that I have good form. All right, so that was second position. Remembering that those toes are still going to be turned out. We're going to skip third position for a moment. Third position, it's not one we're going to use much. Fifth position is what we'll be using. Third position is a modification for fifth. So when we get to fifth, I'll show you the modification for that. Okay, now we're going to do fourth. I think fourth is the trickiest. We haven't used this in a class yet. Might be a little while until we do. It's hard for me not being able to see you for fourth because it's tricky. So I'm going to just demonstrate by taking this leg out, so this right side out, and then setting the foot down. That's fourth position. Again, here I'm in my first. I'm going to pick that leg up. So this is like my tendu out, and then set it down. Once I've set it down, the weight needs to be equally balanced between my front and my back leg. So I'm not all the way forward. I'm not all the way back. It's between the two. I'm going to turn so you can see this on profile. So here I am in my first position. Again, that leg comes out, tendu out, set it down, and then that's fourth. The weight's distributed, and the knees continue to go out in that direction. So coming back to face you again. I need a less sticky mat. So they're in plieing, a nice plie. Fourth is tricky. Fourth and fifth will probably feel most different side to side. When I think about keeping that hip forward on face, so facing, kind of important. Coming up into releve. Again, not too far forward, not too far back. Thinking about going straight up like a string is pulling the crown of your head up. And again, when we're in releve, thinking about belly to spine, staying nice and balanced. Fourth arms are a little bit tricky. So I don't think we're going to be doing any fourth arms. If we're in fourth, I'll probably just keep you in first arms. I don't know. It's my class. I get to decide how to teach it. So we did our plie, and then a grand, down and down, up and up, down and down, up and up. This is my stronger side in fourth. The other side's harder. So fourth position, tricky. Watch this a couple times. Practice with a mirror. That's what I did to get more confident. And just listen to your body. You might not be ready to come all the way down into a grand plie. If that's the case, you can just keep like 2 plies equal grand plie from a timing standpoint. So that's okay. All right, Now we're going to go into fifth position. So if I'm here in fourth, I'm simply going to point this front toe, this right foot, and I'm going to slide my heel to meet the toe of my other foot. So right foot, left toe. If this still doesn't feel good to you, this is where third position is your modification. So you're just going to slide that foot, the heel of the foot, to the ball. So driving up here the toe is just going to come in, and that's third position. That's going to be a little bit gentler on your knees and your joints in general. So if you have any knee issues, you might start in third position to see how that feels before you move to a fifth position. So this is kind of a modified fifth. Like I said, I've been working on my turnout, so if I can get into a pretty good fifth. Like ballerinas can get the feet parallel. I'm not quite there yet. So what makes fifth tricky is, again, your hips, because we're thinking about keeping those hips square even as those legs are tracking over the feet. So fifth's a tricky one. I like fifth. Fifth, arms. This is the traditional ballerina arms that you think of. So we don't want the shoulders up. We want the shoulders coming down the back, but at the same time, reaching those arms all the way up. Legs, fingers. And then if we're coming up into a releve, this is kind of a traditional releve, but we're going to take that front foot and walk it to the back foot and velcro them together. And that is susu. And I really need to get my hips underneath me if I'm in fifth. It's not a balanced day today. Some days it's not. So again, here I'm in releve. I'm just going to walk those feet together. That's susu. And again, I need to really think about everything being in alignment. If I'm off just a little bit and my core's not tight, I start to wobble. So if you're learning to balance in fifth, maybe good to start here until you feel more confident coming all the way up. There's my core. Barre is so much about core. And then the grand plie. So our plies were here. This is so good for the outer hips. And so then we're going down and down, up, snap, crackle, pop, down and down, up and up. There we go. Okay, so we just went through all those foot positions. To quickly review, we have first, with our arms, here's our second position. Here's our fourth position. I'll probably keep you in first arms. And then here we have fifth. Don't worry, in all these classes, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to cue it, and I'll give you at least one to watch, and then I'll say, hey, join me. So take advantage of that one-time watching if you're a visual learner. I know that I am. Okay, so a couple more quick things about some ballet positioning and feet. Another really common thing we'll do is standing on one leg, and we'll generally start in a first position, and then let's say we're going to do extensions from coupe. So coupe means to cut, and I'm just taking this outside foot. Here you can see the shape a little bit better, and I'm turning so the pinky toe is close to the ankle on that standing leg. That's coupe. So I might extend out and in, or to the side and in. But in all these positions, all that's moving is this leg. I'm trying to keep my stationary leg not moving and my torso not moving. So you wouldn't be able to tell that anything was going on if you couldn't see that leg. So that's coupe. Pretty common position. When we get into the more advanced stuff, we'll come all the way up to passe. Passe is here at the knee. Oh, I can feel how tight I am in my hips. Oh, need to work back into my passe. This is what happens when you're staying at home and you aren't able to do your normal ballet workouts. So coupe and passe. Coupe and ankle, passe at the knee. If you're a ballet pro, when we go into these different things, you can pick your level. So maybe we're in coupe and you think that's not hard enough for me. Great, you go straight into passe, and God love you for it. But the rest of us we're gonna start with basics. Another thing that we do a lot of is extensions, and that's kind of ballet based. It's kind of a bar version of a tendu. So thinking about taking that outside leg, and it's going to come out like it would if it were coming out for a tendu. So to that, distance from the body. And then that's where we'll lift and lower. Or same if I'm going to the side, lifting and lowering. Let's talk about feet for a moment, because maybe you notice the shape of my feet when I'm doing this, and that's I'm pointing the foot. I don't have my ballet shoes on, but you can still see that I'm taking my foot and I'm pointing it. So it's taken me a long time to build up strength in my foot. It didn't come naturally to me. It took a lot of work. So we're not going to have a flexed foot. You can modify with like a Barbie foot. This is a Barbie foot. If you like me, play with Barbies when you were a little one, kind of like you're always wearing a high heel, but practicing over time, coming all the way up into that beautiful pointed foot. This really is going to work the top of your foot. It's going to work the shin all the way up into the quad. So maybe I'll do a foot strengthening, calf strengthening video for folks if you're interested in how you're going to be doing that. But when we're thinking about all of these moves where we're moving one of our legs to really strengthen and tone the whole leg, we want to think about pointing the toe. And again, if you cramp, you can come to the Barbie foot. If you're cramping, I really recommend what I do is I have a banana before I do a really heavy foot workout, because the potassium is going to help to keep you from cramping. Okay, the last thing I'm going to talk about is attitude, because I love doing attitude. Attitude is thinking about having a leg, but that leg is bent rather than being straight. So if I'm here facing forward, this would be a front arabesque, and then attitude is taking that leg out. So when I see attitude, I think of the little ballerina that I had in my ballet box growing up. She was standing with a back attitude. So she had her leg like that and her arms up. Attitude's really, really tricky. It takes a lot of glute, and we don't want to work too much into the back. So I want you to think about doing when you're learning attitude, again, here from my first position, that leg is coming back, and then I'm going to turn the leg out, almost like I'm setting that knee on top of a low table. This is my tight side. My left hip is always tight, so I don't have quite the same range as I do on the right side, coming back up. And so you're thinking both up and back. Attitude's tricky. We won't do a ton of it as we get started, but as we go on, we'll do a little bit more. So again, in that section, we talked about coupe and passe. Then we talked about kind of leg extensions and the position that would be in, very similar to a tendu. We're thinking about keeping that foot as pointed as we can to build strength in the feet. And then briefly, we talked about attitude, which is a bent leg instead of a straight leg. Maybe that was ballet overload for you. Don't worry. I'm here. I'm going to walk you through all of it. We're going to be doing it together. So happy practicing. I hope this got you excited and thinking about the new things that we're going to be trying. And I'm so glad that you keep coming and working out with me. Thanks, everyone. See you at a class soon. Bye.